Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Jackie Brown, starring Pam Grier, Robert Forster, Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson, Robert motherfucking De Niro, Michael Keaton, and Bridget Fonda, and directed by Quentin Tarantino. Now, let's just get straight into this. Jackie Brown, played by Pam Grier, is a flight attendant and goes on a flight way to Mexico. Then we move on to the TV where Louis Garver, played by Robert motherfucking De Niro, and Ordell Roby, played by Samuel motherfucking Jackson, watch a show about guns until Melanie Ralston, played by Bridget Fonda, answers the phone, and Louis and Melanie talk briefly until Beaumont Livingston, played by Chris Tucker from this trilogy, calls and makes Ordell bails his ass out of motherfucking jail thanks to Max Cherry, played by Robert Forster. And I'm liking these characters. I'm a big fan of Samuel motherfucking Jackson and Robert motherfucking De Niro and Chris Tucker. I'm in the middle with Pam Grier and Robert Forster, but Bridget Fonda I'm not a big fan of at all because she's annoying in general. I just don't like Bridget Fonda. I'm sorry. Ordell goes to Beaumont's place, and Ordell asks Beaumont for a favor until he gets shot in the trunk, and next thing you know, I'll miss Chris Tucker in this movie. Jackie gets stopped by two cops. One is Mark Dargis, played by Michael Bowen, and Ray Nicolette, played by Michael Keaton, and they see $10,000 illegally from Mexico and arrest her and get interrogated by the cops, but Ordell, who's friends with Jackie, and I don't know Mark Dargis, but I like Michael Keaton in general, and I'll get to his Batman sometime this year. They take her to court, and Ordell is there and uses Max to, instead of bailing Beaumont out because he's dead, to asking him to get Jackie out of prison. And this is not turning out as good nor as funny as Pulp Fiction. But don't get me wrong, I do think this is a good, and the script is funny, but not better than Pulp Fiction in my opinion. Jackie decides Ordell must be busted by the cops after talking with him and Max, so they make a deal with Melanie as high as a motherfucking kite, and that is funny. And I think the rest of the plot kicks in, and I'm enjoying this movie. Jackie has a romance with Max, and they have such good chemistry together. Jackie leads Louis, Melanie, Max, and the cops in a mall in Los Angeles in a clothing shop, starting with Louis and Melanie running late, and Louis is treating Melanie like a dog, and she goes into the dressing room to get the money, and they walk out, and Melanie acts like a total bitch to Louis, and Louis shoots her twice because she was getting on his nerves. Then Max spies on Jackie, Louis, and Melanie's just so he can grab the money for his own. Then Jackie leaves to get the cops, and Jackie says to them Melanie assaulted her. And Louis picks up Ordell, and Ordell counts it and sees they don't have the right amount of money. I do like how intense these scenes are, particularly since Louis tells Ordell he shot Melanie twice, and Ordell shoots Louis as they're pulled over, and the acting is great in so many levels. Ordell wants to talk with Max and kill Jackie as he leaves Max a message with Winston, his assistant, and finally Max gets a hold of Ordell, and he asks where his money is and where's Jackie, so he can shoot her ass. And as he comes in Max's office, and Max comes with him, and she shoots Ordell's motherfucking ass, and both Max and Jackie get out scot-free, and credits roll, and I can dig this ending but this movie is violent, but not too violent. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.2 out of 10. This movie isn't quite as good or and the dialogue isn't as funny as Pulp Fiction. I do like the characters, but not as much as Pulp Fiction's characters. Mr. Tarantino is very clever with his dialogue, but this isn't as violent as his other movies, and I enjoy Sam motherfucking Jackson and Robert motherfucking De Niro and Chris Tucker. In this movie, if you're not in the mood for a completely violent Tarantino movie, this is the film to watch. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with Kill Bill Volume 1. And until next time, and action.